Hi, my name is Shawn Roop, and this is Ask a Tantrica. Hi, welcome to another episode of Ask a Tantrica, where I answer your questions from the internet. Let's go there now to Heather, who asked a question. Who should you seek if you're looking to start practicing Tantra? Are there any good books one can read about it? Okay, good question. Where does one start the path of Tantra? So who should you seek? So what I would say is the person you should seek is a person who's speaking your language or speaking something that inspires you to want to explore yourself more, to want to explore Tantra more. Someone who feels you feel resonant with. That it's not so much about who's the best, it's about who's the best for you. And that's a very tantric principle right there. One of the hardest parts is that I think we follow what other people do. If you hear about a really great restaurant and then you go to that restaurant, you're really going on a recommendation. Now, you've never been there before, you don't really know, and then you get there and you find out it's all, let's say, tapas, little Spanish plates of food. And you're like, wow, I didn't know I was going to be coming to a tapas restaurant. I was kind of hoping to have a nice piece of fish or something like that. But now I have lots of, okay, I'll have the experience. And then the problem is it's not really you didn't know what you were getting into. And so I would say it's the same thing with the Tantra teacher, to make sure that you talk to your teacher that you're interested in working with, so that maybe you can find if that person coming from the right place for you, not the right place in the sense of right and wrong, because again, that's not your path. The right path for you is your path. That's the important part to remember. People ask me all the time, what's a good book on Tantra? And it's such a hard question. And the reason why it's such a hard question is because there's so many different approaches to Tantra. It depends on where you want to come from. So a lot of people are like, okay, what if it's about relationship or sexuality? So I have books that I can recommend. What if it's about learning more of the classical part? Okay, I have books for classical Tantra, no problem. And so on and so forth. But honestly, there's not a definitive book that I can say across the board fits everyone in learning Tantra, especially in the beginning levels. My favorite book on Tantra is called Tantra, the Supreme Understanding, and it's written by a man named Osho. And Osho was a guru who's since passed from India. And he wrote a few thousand books, maybe hundreds of books on all kinds of different topics because he was a guru. But he had about 7 or 8 books on Tantra that are definitive books on Tantra. But Tantra, the Supreme Understanding, really was for me a very powerful opportunity to hear and explore concepts of Tantra. Sometimes that were easy, a lot of times were not so easy. They're very hard. Because they're anti-societal, they're anti-culture. They're really asking us to return to a natural state. So again, these questions are not as easy because there's not a singular point that one can go to as a starting place. And then you get to find where you go. It's like, start here. It's not like that. Tantra is more of the wild place that doesn't have a map, and it depends on where you walk. That's where you start. That's how it goes. So the best thing we can do is have awareness and consciousness and an availability to choose well by inquiring into things. I hope that helps you. Thanks, Heather. It was a good question. Thanks. So when looking into, is it Tantra or Tantra? Which one is it?
It's actually Tantra.
It's Tantra.
It is.
Sure it's not Tantra? It seems like it's Tantra. A lot of people say Tantra.
Well, no, it's not right. I know a lot of people say it though.
All right. Okay. All right, whatever. So, it just feels better to say Tantra.
It's Tantra, okay?
Can we just fact check that, please? Is it Tantra or Tantra?